Welcome. I am Ed Mullins and I'm a former dean, all set for retirement 15 years ago, and got tricked by Dr. Pruitt into serving in the community affairs. I almost got off today until somebody said, hey, wait a minute, doesn't Dr. Mullins play a role in this every year for 15 years? So here I am again. I watched the first 2 days online and have been impressed, really impressed with what I've seen. I must say that I've had no idea that posters could be presented so interesting virtually, and that seed funds could, well, bear so much fruit virtually. Of course, Dr. Daniels can make looking at wallpaper seem interesting, and we thank him for his good work. Despite the fact we did not get to once again send the largest delegation to the annual Engagement Scholarship Consortium Convention this year, and have had to do so many things virtually, it is amazing how we have been able to do this. The pandemic truly has exemplified for us the relevance of our work, the resilience of our faculty and staff and community partners, and the reciprocity that is so much a part of community engagement process. Okay, I'll have to give credit to Ms. Diane Kennedy for her assistance in working the 3 of the 4 R's into this introduction today. The 4th R, of course, is research, and I'll leave that to those who follow me. Thanks so much to all of you here today, and all, as well as those who will be watching online, for making coming to work every day something I hope to do for another 15 years when I celebrate my 100th birthday. Thank you for letting me be part of the university's one of the university's most exciting ventures. And now, as our president, Stuart R. Bell, comes to make some opening remarks, let's hear a Roll Tide. Thank you.
Well, thank you all, and good morning, or afternoon. What a great time of the year this is. We have been able to have a wonderful season of surviving the year, but now I think we're celebrating, and we have an awful lot to celebrate, I think, as a university. Certainly the achievements of our campus is at the top of that list. But as I've looked over the last 2 weeks, and we've had our honors day, the tapping on the mound, and all those activities reflecting, it is what the University of Alabama does is impact those around us. It is preparing students, preparing our faculty and our staff to have an impact so that we leave our community or other communities in a better spot than we found those. And I think there's nothing more that does that at the University of Alabama than through our programs that Dr. Pruitt leads. And I just want to congratulate the Division of Community Affairs for all the programs that we run that really do take our faculty, take our staff, take our students, and have them intersect with the community in some way. I'm giving them the experience of here's why you're here, that we are a part of society, and here's how we can give back. And I would say for everyone in the room, while you're being recognized today, you're being recognized for probably a small part of your impact on communities around you. And each one of you are going to have an incredible future. As certainly our students, we think about integrating their impact over their careers and their lives of what they will mean in their lives for our community. This is just the beginning of what you're going to do. So we certainly hope that you have learned through this process and you've learned how to impact communities. You've also learned how to listen to communities, and you've learned how to accept in a gracious way the feedback and the impact that you have on communities. So I want to congratulate everyone that we're going to be recognizing today, but most of all, I want to thank you for how you represent the University of Alabama, but what you mean to us at the university and what you're going to mean over the next 5, 10, 15, I don't know, maybe 50 years of impacting those around you. And who knows, you may think back sometime, I remember sitting in that room over the restroom over at the University of Alabama, and we talked about having an impact on communities. And I can remember that's where I began and got started. So thank you all for joining us. Smarty, thank you for your group leading us in the way that you do. And roll Tide.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Dalton, Executive Vice President and Provost, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I'll just say ditto. I want to thank Dr. Pruitt and Dr. And the Dean for bringing us here today. You know, we have a lot to be thankful for, and we're particularly thankful for this group's collaboration in expanding classroom opportunities for our students, mentoring students, and identifying new research and learning opportunities. So congratulations and thank you. Roll Tide.
Thank you, President Bell and Provost Dalton. We are so happy to have you here today. At this time, we want to start out this part of our program by hearing from our Chair of the Community-Based Partnerships Council Executive Committee, Dr. Peter Lebowitz from the College of Education.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Peter Lebowitz, and I serve as Dean of the College of Education at the University of Alabama and Chair of the Executive Committee of the Council of Community-Based Partnerships. The Council is comprised of more than 160 campus and community members, all of whom are deeply committed to the work of community-engaged scholarship. We exist to connect faculty, staff, students, and community partners in research-based projects designed to solve critical problems identified by community members and the university. That's academic speak for sharing the common goal of engaging communities and improving the quality of life for all, which speaks directly to the University of Alabama's institutional mission. Each year we honor the best work in engagement scholarship. In this, our 15th year, we have no small number of people to acknowledge. The 2021 awards program is taking place over 3 days, with today being our final day. On Tuesday, we heard highlights from the Student Community Engagement Center and recognized Leadership Academy participants. We were enlightened by academic poster presentations and celebrated Chris Brewster, recipient of the Dodson Scholarship, which is presented each year to an outstanding student employee of the Division of Community Affairs. Yesterday, our second day, we heard from our 2020 Seed Fund recipients and met those who will receive seed funds during the 2021 cycle. We also heard from a past recipient of travel funds. Today, we will announce graduate fellowship recipients, as well as the winners of Outstanding Community Engagement Effort Awards and Distinguished Scholar Awards, as well as the Outstanding Special Achievement in Community Engagement Award. At this time, I invite President Bell and Provost Dalton to share their thoughts on community engagement at the University of Alabama. Thank you.
Well, this is a live event. My name is George Daniels, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of Journalism and Creative Media in the College of Communication and Information Sciences. And today we are continuing to salute those who have done outstanding work in community engagement. As you saw from our chair of the council, there are a lot of things we've already done, but there is so much more that is to come. It's a hybrid event. And that means just as important as the 30 plus people who are in this room are the hopefully 30 or more who are online watching this live using the Zoom technology. We've been on Zoom on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. And one of the things we established at the very beginning of the week is we're not just making do with this modified arrangement. We are making new. We're doing things in a new way. Even in the area of community engagement, we're not just talking about scholarship in a traditional sense. We're also talking about community engagement as it plays out in not just service learning, but community engaged learning. We're talking about community engagement as it relates to civic engagement. The nominations for this year's awards reflect this larger tent, and the winners also reflect that change. But we're also making new in that today you're able to be here or watch live on Zoom, but there's a whole other audience that'll be able to watch this event because for the first time, it'll be captured and available for playback in its entirety on demand. So those are some of the new things that are happening with our event this year. One person who is not new is Dr. Rebecca Allen. She's going to come forward right now with the information about our winners of our Graduate Fellowship Awards. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you so much. And it's my pleasure to be with you here today and recognize the award winners of this year's Graduate Fellowships. The committee had the distinct pleasure of reviewing and selecting these exceptional projects. And we are forever grateful to Dr. Susan Carvalho, Associate Provost and Dean of the Graduate School, for providing the funding to make these graduate fellowships possible and for continued support of this program through these many years. Dr. Carvalho had prior commitments today and is unable to be with us. We are grateful that Dr. Andre Denham, Associate Dean, I know you're out there you are, Associate Dean for Graduate Academic Affairs is able to join us and congratulate our award recipients. We will now acknowledge the 2020-2021 Community Engagement Graduate Fellows and their faculty advisors. 2 years ago, we added pinning to the recognition of these distinguished scholars. Most often associated with newly graduated nurses, pinning recognizes the culmination of their studies, which allows them to enter into their chosen profession and serve the public. Community engaged scholars also serve the public, though by the nature of community engagement, their research with community partners occurs as an integral part of their studies. While social distancing will not allow pinning today, the fellows will receive their pins in recognition of their efforts, and that's earned them, of course, the opportunity to continue their research with community engaged graduate fellows. So, faculty, advisors, and graduate fellows come forward to receive your certificate and pin as your name is called. Without the pinning. We ask that each of you, as well as Dr. Bell, Dr. Dalton, and Dr. Denham, and Dr. Pruitt, our leader, report to the photo area after receiving your certificate and pin for a high quality photo op. All right. So if some of you leaders can kind of make your way, I'll start reading our recipients and their projects. Some individuals were unable to be with us here today, but our first award recipient was Dr. Heather Gunn of the Department of Psychology and doctoral student Alexandra Fisher. Dr. Gunn could not be with us today, but the project is Sleep of Mothers in Pickens County, Psychosocial and Sleep Health Needs of Mothers of Infants and Young Children of Pickens County. Congratulations, Dr. Gunn and Alexandra Fisher. Second, and this project may be represented here today, it's not quite certain. The second award recipient was Dr. Joy Douglas with doctoral student Pat Tytrong. I don't see movement toward me. Therefore, that project was supporting brain injury survivors and their caregivers, a community engaged project. Congratulations to Dr. Douglas and Pat Tytrong. Now our other award recipients are with us today, which is lovely. Congratulations to Dr. Laura Hobson, doctoral student Gloria Abura for the project UA SMART, Student Health Partnership to promote student health and well-being through community engaged intervention and evaluation. Congratulations, Dr. Hobson and Gloria Abura. I just love this, y'all. I could do this all day. All right, last but absolutely not least, very proud of Dr. Susan White, doctoral student Alexis Bruce. Dr. White also of the Department of Psychology and the Center for Youth Development and Intervention. And their project is community-based programming for transition-aged youth with autism. Congratulations to all the award recipients and thank you today for your time.
Dr. Allen, as we continue, we want to let you know that we had some great nominations for our Excellence Awards this year. We want to thank each of you for sending in your nominations, even on a little bit of a different timeline. Now we're going to recognize those who have done outstanding work in the area of community engagement. First, based on their projects, we have community-initiated engagement projects, student-initiated engagement projects, faculty-initiated engagement projects, and then some additional awards for distinguished work for faculty, staff, student, and community partner. But before we begin, we want to explain that for each of the award winners, we're going to ask that you come forward in a similar fashion to our previous winners today. And as your name is called, we'll give a short summary of great work that you've done, and then you'll go to the photo area to have your photo taken with our president, provost, and our vice president. Let me also note that this is back after 2 years. Our wonderful programming, you might say, well, it's just a program. Well, it is a formal memory of the work that you were recognized for today. We know that your work is going to continue, but this will be available digitally on our website along with the recordings for all 3 days starting next week. So what we're going to do today is just tell a little bit of that story as your name is called. In our first category, we're talking about those community engagement projects initiated by our community partner. When it comes to excellence in community engagement, and particularly in the area of democracy, the League of Women Voters is a household name. We've all heard of that organization. What you might not know is what our League of Women Voters of Greater Tuscaloosa has done over this past year, even in a pandemic. Not only did our local chapter sponsor virtual forums in advance of the November 3rd, 2020 elections, they came right back and did the same thing last month in advance of our Tuscaloosa municipal elections. They also have been working this year with our Student Government Association at UA and our Center for Civic Engagement, that are known as the Crossroads Center for Civic Engagement, to help students know about the importance of voting before and after the elections. In the nomination for the League this year, the nominator said, quote, "Their nonpartisan work has been and continues to be crucial to restoring belief in the political process." Join me in congratulating the League of Women Voters of Greater Tuscaloosa. Here's a question for you. How many of you remember giving your very first science fair presentation? I think mine was at James Madison University in Harrisonburg, Virginia. But I did not have the assistance of university faculty from JMU or graduate students, unlike the students here in Tuscaloosa. Thanks to the interest of the faculty and the staff of the Tuscaloosa area schools, we have our next winner because they were connected to the UA STEM Showcase. That's right, the UA STEM Showcase. It's all about UA faculty members teaming up with team from the University Center for Community-Based Partnerships, and also working with AMSTI, which stands for the Alabama Math Science Technology Initiative, for the first time, even in a pandemic, to help support sixth graders, seventh graders, eighth graders in their science projects so that they can not only go to the Central Alabama Regional Science and Engineering Fair, but advance to statewide competition. Join me in congratulating our second community engaged scholarship recipients, the UA STEM Showcase. And as they're taking their photo, I'll just note, it is outstanding that we have faculty from multiple UA departments who are engaging and working on this. And if I may put Daniela on the spot, is that event going to be an in-person event this coming year, you think? All right, so we're going to have some science fair activities happening in Tuscaloosa on campus in 2022. So looking forward to that. All right, congratulations again. Now we shift to our student-initiated engagement activities, and we're going to begin with this part of our recognition program in the Culver House College of Business, where certainly you've heard about the STEM Path to MBA program. That's where students who are high-achieving students in engineering and math and in the sciences, they start taking MBA classes while they're in undergrad, and they just stay one more year and they get their MBA. A big theme of the STEM Path to MBA is innovation. And today we want to recognize students in the GBA 471 course who developed a model that connects them in the STEM Path to MBA program to high school students right down the road, about 29, 30 minutes in Hale County, actually maybe 45 minutes in Greensboro, Alabama, depending on how far you drive. The idea is to empower those high school students in Greensboro, not only to know about entrepreneurship, which is what they're doing in the MBA program, but to also get directly involved in pitching ideas that can solve problems in their high schools. This is a great model. It's only in its first year, but we want to call on the students from GBA 471 in this STEM Path to MBA program for being what we call STEM Innovation Mentors for their outstanding community engagement in Hale County. Congratulations. All right, we have another student award to give today for student-initiated engagement. And this involves learning a new acronym. Say it with me, VEUA. VEUA. If you don't know what that stands for, it is Vote Everywhere UA. It's one of 100 campus chapters affiliated with the Andrew Goodman Foundation. But in 2020, VEUA was Chapter of the Year. Yes, in a pandemic, Chapter of the Year. You may remember Andrew Goodman was one of those students who lost their lives in the 1960s, registering people to vote next door to us in Mississippi. We are proud here at the University of Alabama that our students in 2020 and beyond are actively involved in getting University of Alabama students and those beyond actively engaged in the process. This year, VEUA gathered more than 30 campus partners to increase voter registration in advance of the November 2020 election. Then on election day, they teamed up with our Crossroads Center for Civic Engagement and our SGA to get out the vote. But guess what? Even in the spring 2021 semester, after the elections are over, they're still working. because they transitioned from just doing activism to doing community engaged research. Now they're working with Dr. Rich Fording to research student voting behavior in 2020 so they can be even more effective in the next election. Let's give congratulations to VEUA for their student community engaged outreach. Well, next we're going to go to our faculty-initiated community engagement efforts. And for this particular award, we want to review just for a minute. Does anybody remember from Tuesday's ceremony, our talk about 2 miles on 12? If you were online on Tuesday, you heard about 2 miles on 12. Well, 12 is County Road 12, and it runs through Uniontown, Alabama. That is in Perry County, a little longer than an hour from here. But on the 2 miles on 12 program, there's a stretch of that highway where residents have been gathering trash and getting exercise. And at the same time, they've been working with the winner of our faculty-initiated community engagement, his students in the Capstone College of Nursing. I'm talking about Dr. Michael Callahan. Dr. Michael Callahan has teamed up not only with the students from his class, but he is connected in a 3-way partnership that involves the Capstone College of Nursing, the Health Occupation Association of R.C. Hatch High School in Uniontown, and a nonprofit agency you heard from on Tuesday, CHOICE. CHOICE stands for Choosing to Help Others in Our Community Excel. Choosing to help others in our community excel. Wow. Dr. Callahan's students led a health and wellness workshop just 2 months ago in February that nearly 24 seniors in Uniontown participated in, all over the age of 60. They're learning about health. They're also getting screened for high blood pressure, diabetes, and asthma. How about that? When you bring together our faculty, our students, working with those in the community. Congratulations to Dr. Callahan, Dr. Michael Callahan. Come on up. It's exciting to see that our winners, one year might be a community partner. The next year, that community partner is working with another member of our faculty. It just shows that our relationship as a university and our community is sustained over a long period of time. Congratulations to the Capstone College. Let's go from the Capstone College to the College of Communication and Information Sciences. My college, by the way. Our winner for our second faculty-initiated engagement has developed an international reputation for his research on the representation of culturally diverse populations in print and digital media for children and youth. Today, we recognize Dr. Jamie Campbell-Nadeau, creator of the SLIS, and SLIS stands for the School of Library and Information Studies, Book Bonanza for the Black Belt and beyond. Here's how that bonanza works. Each year, school librarians can apply to receive around $3,300 worth of brand new children's and young adult books. The program then is focused on getting these books primarily to the Black Belt, but then the and beyond means that schools even outside of the Black Belt also are eligible. In fact, this program has been underway since 2009. In the most recent bonanza, I believe was 2020, there were 7 counties represented among the winners in the bonanza, including Russell County, which is where Troy, Alabama is, but all the way over on the eastern edge of the state, on the Georgia line, you had Pike County, Alabama, with one of the recipients of the Book Bonanza grant. But then right here in Tuscaloosa, Westlawn Middle School, in the 12 years of the Book Bonanza, more than 70 schools in Alabama have received these wonderful brand new library books. Let's salute Dr. Jamie Campbell-Nadeau from the School of Library Information Studies in the College of Communication and Information Sciences. And we're staying in that College of Communication and Information Sciences because we have another winner. But this is for work in the civic engagement arena. If you didn't think that we could be productive in a pandemic, think again. Dr. Cynthia Peacock took her COM 595 political primaries and caucuses classes to, guess what? The caucuses. Yes, before the pandemic, she was able to take her students, team them up with students and faculty from our sister institutions at the University of Alabama at Birmingham and the University of Alabama in Huntsville. And they did some data collection. They did surveys attending 8 candidate rallies in Iowa. And they analyzed the portrayals of candidates in online media. But this was not just about doing research. As a nominator for this award winner noted, these students learn how to get IRB, Institutional Review Board approval for community engaged research and connect with people in the community face to face. They did that in Iowa just before the pandemic, but the proof of their work right here, it's in the publication. You go to the 2020 edition, 2021 edition of the American Behavioral Sciences, and you will see this article that is co-authored by Dr. Peacock, the faculty at UAB and UAH, and 1, 2, 3 students. Congratulations to Dr. Cynthia Peacock for her community engaged learning work here at the University of Alabama. I don't think I've ever been able to get a publication turned around that quickly. That was just fascinating. I was like, great. Doing it. She's doing it. So those are our community engaged projects. They are excellent in their connecting the university with the community. Now we're going to shift to individuals who have a body of work in the area of community engagement. We recognize them with our distinguished community engagement efforts. And we're going to begin with this place in the heart of Tuscaloosa's West End community. I'm talking about the Benjamin Barnes YMCA. Benjamin Barnes YMCA has been operating for more than half a century. But for the last 11 years, it has been under the direction of Ms. Lakita Smith. Today, we salute Ms. Smith not only for her longevity there in the Tuscaloosa West End community, but also for her efforts to support numerous community partnerships and initiatives. For the last 7 years, she has worked closely with those here at the university to put on the Swim to the Top summer camp program. Most recently, she is involved in launching a brand new oral history initiative that will connect communication students in capturing the 50+ year history of the Benjamin Barnes YMCA. The fact is, great community partnerships are built on relationships, trust, and collaboration. We are proud to salute one of our own UA grads, Lakita Smith, with an award for her distinguished work as a community partner. I have to say, I walked in with her, I didn't recognize her because I've only seen her on Zoom, you know? When you see someone in person, it's totally different, right? It is great to see her here today and to recognize the YMCA and their leadership. Congratulations, Akita. And we're going to stay right there at the YMCA because our next recipient of the Distinguished Award is not just a community partner, but he is a student. He's been working with the Benjamin Barnes YMCA, first as a master's degree student in kinesiology. Jake Peterson is now a PhD student in that same program, playing a major role in Swim to the Top as the graduate research associate. Now, as a doctoral student, Jake has presented at conferences such as the Engaged Scholarship Consortium and led collaborations with other graduate students to present on the impact of community engagement on undergraduate and graduate students. But get this, he has already, early in his PhD program, published manuscripts, including a book chapter on his work. Join me in congratulating Jake Peterson, our student distinguished community engagement award. So we've recognized the outstanding distinguished work that's being done by a community partner. We recognize that being done by a student. Our third category typically is faculty/staff. But today, we're going to recognize a faculty member and a staff member. But let's start with our staff member recognized for her work. Despite the University of Alabama's mission of community engagement, very few colleges on campus have a dedicated staff member just focusing on connecting students and faculty in the community. And that is why Dr. Pamela Young is such a unique player in the universe of community engagement at the University of Alabama. Dr. Young serves as the Director of Community Engagement and Economic Development in the College of Arts and Sciences. But she just doesn't stay in her office in Hauser Hall. She is frequently out and about spreading the gospel of community involvement, community engagement all over campus. Just this year, she gave a presentation about community response and impact of COVID-19. She also talked to our students in the Student Community Engaged Center about working with communities in times of crises. And even before the pandemic in 2020, responding to social need, post-hurricane community response in Puerto Rico. Those presentations just illustrate the work that is being done by Dr. Pamela Young. And I happened to meet her last semester virtually because of her work overseeing the A&S Ambassador Program. So she's just doing so much on campus, and we're delighted today to recognize her for her sustained work in community engagement there in arts and sciences. Congratulations, Dr. Young. We're going to take a slight detour. We want to go back and recognize one additional project, community engaged project that we think is worthy of recognition on multiple levels because it involves an alum and a current student, several current students. But our second Student Engagement Award that we didn't get a chance to tell you about goes to a group who, in the midst of the pandemic, just a year or so ago, said 4 words. Leave it to us. Leave it to us. Like the rest of our UA students, Michael Arundel left our campus here in Tuscaloosa last March, headed home to Chicago, and instead of just taking classes and finishing up the semester, he got involved as the virus was spreading in reaching out and helping family members in need who just needed someone to go get groceries and pick up medications. Those who were most at risk could catch our students at their best. And that's how Leave It At Us started. It's a free shopping service for seniors, and it has become a nonprofit with chapters and operations all over the country. Of course, back here in Alabama, Arundel was joined by other UA students, and over in the city of Birmingham, a recent UA grad, now at UAB Medicine, Abukan Afan. Mr. Afan is here to accept the award based on his work in the city of Birmingham for Leave It to Us. Come on up, Abukan. I might add, I got to know Abukan when he was an undergraduate student, when he was just starting out. It is so thrilling to see him now doing great work over in the city of Birmingham. If you haven't seen the website, make a mental note, covidseniorsshoppers.com. You can see the story. There's actually an interesting video from our NBC affiliate in Chicago featuring our University of Alabama students and their community engagement. Let's give one more round of applause to all of our winners today. Unfortunately, she was not able to be with us today, but I do want to let you know that this year we are very pleased to recognize as our faculty distinguished award winner, one who has been a part of this program and was a part of our program even yesterday. Our final award goes for someone who has done distinguished work over the years, leading our Seed Grant Award program. If you were online yesterday, you got a chance to hear Dr. Martha Crowther as she talked to our latest 2021 Seed Grant Award winners. She is the Director of Clinical Psychology, a professor in that area, but also now the Associate Dean of Research and Health Policy in the College of Community Health Sciences. Just a few months ago, she was putting her background as a clinical psychologist to work, helping institutions across our state deal with the twin traumas of pandemic from racial injustice and pandemic from COVID-19, helping us to cope, those of us in the Alabama Association of Higher Education Diversity Officers, ALAHIDO. She spent an entire afternoon talking with us about how do we deal with that as faculty and staff, and then facilitating breakout sessions. That's an example of her work that's been going on for a long time. She's published work on working with communities in the enhancement of rural mental health, and it's not unusual to see her win many, many, many grants. One of her grants in particular focused on the sustained involvement in the field in the area of community-based intervention to increase the utilization of colorectal cancer screenings among African-American women. That was $1 million grant from the Centers for Disease Control. And that's what the Seed Grant program is all about, taking a small amount of money and growing it. She's doing it in her research program. The fact is, when it comes to community-based participatory research or community engaged scholarship, Dr. Martha Crowther doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk. And so we are excited today to recognize her as our Distinguished Award winner, Faculty 2021. Let's give her a hand, even in her absence. Well, that concludes our formal award presentations that I'm going to be involved in today. We do have another presentation that we're going to have coming from our Vice President for Community Affairs. But I just want to say once again, a special thank you to all of our team involved in making these 3 days of community engagement recognition a success. We also encourage all of you to tell the story of these partnerships. Watch the presentations as they're available online, but start now thinking about those people you would like to see recognized in 2022. Yes, 2022 is coming. Congratulations again.
Wow, what an amazing past 3 days. I think about this program every year and how fortunate we are to work at flagship institution in the state. I think I read somewhere that somewhere around 25% of the population in Alabama has college degrees. And here we are trying to help students get those degrees. We got folks working to help them get those degrees, but we never lose sight of our mission. And that is to improve the quality of life for folks in Alabama and beyond. And that's what we've heard this afternoon. And congratulations to all of you. You're making a difference. It's not just the projects, it's the difference in the lives of the people who you touch. This could not be done without leadership. I'm in a fraternity that believes that everything rises and falls on leadership. And so I really appreciate Dr. Bell and Dr. Dalton for their support of this work and for their presence here today. Please give them a round of applause. He's already been thanked, but we try to collaborate with other units across campus as much as possible. But our graduate fellowships could not be possible without the graduate school and Susan Fowler. Our Excellence Awards do come with a monetary award as well. And Russ Mumford in our Office of Research and Economic Development helps with those. Now, Russ is not here. We gave him an excuse. I think he's somewhere in Florida watching a missile launch or something, some excuse like that, but he couldn't be here. Peter's been mentioned. He's the chair of our council. Peter's done a great job, as has the entire council leadership. I see Becky. She does a great job with the fellowship, Martha. We couldn't do this work without the council leadership and the entire council. I want to thank all that have participated on the program the last 3 days. None of this would be possible without you. George alluded to one more award. Typically when we do this, I have the privilege of giving the first award. That didn't happen this year because of some other things, timing. But the highest award we give is this award for distinguished work in community engagement. And I always like to say I get to give the first award today, but that won't happen today. But Peter will receive it. He doesn't know it yet. He's in a meeting with his chairs, and I'm going to interrupt that meeting around 2:15 with some breaking news. And we're going to present it to him. But for those of you who are not familiar with this award, I'll just give you the names of the people who from our campus who have received it. It includes a chancellor. If you look at Mercedes-Benz, there was a guy named Michael Callahan who saw the benefit of bringing that plant to Tuscaloosa and its impact on the state and the university. And he worked really, really hard and was a key player. He's been recognized. Two of our former presidents, Bob Witt and Judy Barner, under their leadership, we decided to pursue the Carnegie classification and launch a peer-reviewed referee journal. A college had never done that before, and we're in year 12 or 13 of that journal. We've had a dean, Bob Olin, who used to smuggle folks to Cuba, students, faculty, staff with the University of Havana. He did work across the Alabama Black Belt. We recognized him. Our very own, as he said in his opening remarks, Ed Mullins. When he retired, he called me. He says, I think I know what you're trying to do. And if you give me an office and a computer, I'll help you. I think our journal, our Carnegie, and just the building of this division, his footprints and handprints are all over it, and he's a recipient. Two provosts, Joe Benson, who was in arts and sciences for a while and trying to do math labs across the Black Belt. And last year, Kevin Whitaker, who, if you've not visited our Student Community Engagement Center, that was part of Kevin's vision. So Peter fits right in that mold. If you see the video from the grand opening of that center, Peter's right there. Most of his faculty are either going to be recognized during this program or they're always engaged, but it's because of his leadership. So I look forward to the breaking news at 2:15 and sharing that with him. As I wrap up, what can I say about our awards committee chair? Where is he? There he's over the corner. Nobody brings this to work to life like George Daniels. And he told us he may not be here next year to do it. So there's a State Farm commercial where some of you may be familiar with, they're talking about doubles in a commercial. And in one of them, I think Jake has Drake is here. So I told George he better get Drake's phone number next year because someone else is gonna have to do this. But George, we appreciate what you do with this. You know, attending national conferences, I heard someone say this, and it's been true as we've tried to build this work on our campus. They said to me, your campus leadership, your president, provost, have to be supportive, but your faculty must own it. And if they do, they'll see the benefits of expanding classroom opportunities in their research, and they'll engage community, and that has been true. And so to the faculty members in this audience who helped us with this, we thank you because we would not be able to move this work forward without you. And we've got some impressive students, and I'm sure that they thank you as well. Finally, I'll say this, and I've said this at national conferences when I stand up and they introduce me as president of the board of Engaged Scholarship Consortium. The only reason I'm standing up there is because, and I tell my folks this every chance I get, and they cover their ears up because they get tired of hearing it. I worked a lot of places, I've done a lot of things, and I think I've heard Nick Saban say this about this year's team. Some of the best players are the best people. I will say this about the folks in the Division of Community Affairs, and I tell them this all the time. I am very fortunate to work with not only the best people at what they do, but some of the best people anyway. And if any of you have engaged them, you know what I'm saying is the truth. And so I just ask you to give them a round of applause because none of this would be possible without them. And so that concludes the program for this year. Again, I thank you, those of you who are here and who have watched us virtually. Congratulations to all of the honorees for all the work that you're doing and the difference that you're making in so many people's lives. Keep up the great work, and we'll see you again next year. Thank you.